Okay. Start the meeting. Call to order the November 25th, 2024 meeting of the Lake Kiowa Board of Directors. Please stand and join in the pledge of allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, we have all 9 board members here, so we do have to go on and we will conduct business. Comments for the record, for the board members, please make sure when you finish talking to turn your microphone off. It has feedback with the microphone up there. And if you're in the audience, please keep your voices down because that microphone is very, very good and it picks you up. So we'd like to hear us talk, not you. So the next thing you will get 2 opportunities to make comments to the board. This being the first one. So if you have a comment, please stand, keep your block number, and Scott will bring you the microphone. There being none, we will move along. We need to approve the minutes for the board meeting of October 28th, 2024. Those are in your package. Are there any comments or corrections? Okay, there being none, do I have a motion to approve those minutes? Sean, is there a second? Nancy seconds. All those in favor, please raise your hand. Okay, that motion is approved for the board meeting of October 28th, 2024. The next one is special board meeting, the budget workshop, October 30th, 2024. Those minutes are in your package. Are there any corrections or comments to those?
I would have.
Okay, you got that. Sean was absent for that. Okay, are there any more comments or questions? Okay, is there a motion to approve the minutes with that correction?
So moved.
Nancy moves. Is there a second? Rita seconds. All those in favor, please raise your hand. That's 8-0 with 1 of there. Okay. How could we miss you? Okay. The next thing on the agenda is the financial update for October 2024. Ms. Ballard.
For the month of October, or I guess for the first time in a while, we actually had a net loss of $31,274. Most of the contributing factors, the next page. Let's see. The food and beverage sales were up for the month. Interest income was up for the month. But on the next page for the expenses, we had some admin expenses, federal income tax, the lodge food and beverage expenses were higher. I looked at that. A lot of it was recruiting, even though salaries were down. We were spending like $8,000 on recruiting. And golf maintenance, it looked like about a $26,000 irrigation repair. Made that go over. Next slide. The ARC balance is the only reserve fund at this point that did go to the negative. It was for a lot of the road work that had been going on around the lake. And about $100,000.
Over, yeah.
Yeah. And then interest income for the month of October was $35,000. Initiation fees for October, $30,000. Balance in the cash account, $6.3 million.
Okay, thanks, Brad. Mr. Augustiniak, the 2025 budget.
All right, thank you. Just want to recap really quickly the proposed budget. It's a balanced budget. Um,
Last one, sorry. Let's do this side. Happened. Go ahead. Let's put it on that.
all right, all the fees increased the maximum. The O&M increased 5%. Car 5%, R 3%, lake management 5%. The garbage fee went up 4%, which is a product with CPI. You can see in some of the expenses, the percentages increased. Some were way above the 5%. Property insurance was 22%. Other insurance was 15%. Electricity was over 5%. Workers' comp was 15%. Payroll was 5%, and water increased 33% this year. So we had a lot of items that were well above the 5% max. So we had to compensate as such. Next slide. Fee schedule, no fees increased except for those that were associated with the maintenance fee, the lot constitutions, and the initiation fee, which corresponds to what the dues are. Next slide. The proposed assessment fee, it's going to go up to a little over $340. The increase is an increase of $15.34 for a house. A vacant lot is $14.51, so that's what your monthly dues will increase. Next slide. These are by department, what the proposed budget went up. So the proposed budget's going up almost $800,000. Most of that is to do with the lodge and lodge management, which is about a $400,000 increase. That's due to basically doing the balanced budget. The lodge expense and revenue match, so there's no subsidy for a loss this year in the lodge. Next slide. This is just a breakdown of CARF, which is increasing 5%. Currently, we're just over $1 million. For the year, next year, annual revenue will be $520,000 with the due increase. The projects that still are in process and due to be extended are front entrance, driving range, the one-lane bridge repair, and some dam expenses. Those total up to almost $1 million in themselves. The CDRF, which is currently just under $250,000. We have right now, if we were to proceed with the West Gate and the trail on 52 acres, that would use up that $250,000. None of these projects have been completely approved to proceed, but these are the ones that are on the schedule to move forward. Next slide. Our currently is 2.3 million. We'll bring in about another 775,000 this year. What's on the schedule, total liabilities for this year is $1,468,000, and then an additional $250,000 for roads. Next slide. Lake management is a little over $900,000 in the account right now. We'll bring in a little over $250,000. Some scheduled projects for the next year are to remove the silt from the retention ponds. We're estimating that at $120,000. Some additional drainage and erosion will be $50,000. So that'll be the expenses for 2025. We'll also be looking into possibly doing a dredging project in 2026, and we'll be investigating that. That is my report.
Okay. Are there any questions? We've had 2 special meetings to go over this. The change that was made from the last time we saw it was to react to the SUV increase. We had to cut some road repairs to cover that. So that was about, I believe, $38,000 next year for the SUV increase on the budget. So
There was the sorry.
like,
The property insurance went up as well. That took the total sum to $54,000, which was an increase.
okay, so are there any questions to what you've seen? Any concerns? Okay, is there a motion to approve the budget? We have moves to approve the budget as presented.
I second it. I do have a question. Do you want it approved in an amount? Or just approve the budget as presented?
Well, it's, we can, you want to amend it to mention the amount, it's,
6 point.
well, the revenues are, 6,525,348.
A second.
Okay, any further discussion, comments? All those in favor, please raise your hand. Okay, that is 9-0, the budget is approved. Okay, the next thing on the agenda is to approve, or possibly approve committee changes, and that's in your package, and the only thing that I have recommended this month is to add Jeff Hecker, who is the chairman of the ad hoc Part 3 committee, donations committee, to the golf committee, which is consistent with the WGA has a representative, the MGA has a representative, so it's consistent with that. That committee is getting awfully large, so we probably need to look at that next year, or y'all need to look at it, better say. Okay. Are there any questions or comments on adding Jeff Hecker to that committee? Okay. Is there a motion? Dean,
I like that.
Dean moves. Seconds. Any further comments? Okay, all in favor, please raise your hand. Okay, that is 9-0, the motion carries. Okay, the next thing is one of the fun things that we get to do each year, is a report from the nominating committee and announcement of the candidates for the February board election. So I will turn it over to Mr. Wisnat to do that.
We'll have our official announcement of the nominees for the board for 2025. Chris Hale, Dan Bessie, Cecil Heath, Bert Blair, Tricia Malco, and Amanda Moulton. And so going to have those present draw for place on the ballot.
If your name was announced, please come up, stand here in another place.
And for those who are not able to be here, we'll have someone in the board full ballot. Thank you.
We get a black bean and sit to that. Black bean, that's it. And don't walk away because Tricia, hang on. Yeah. Right. Dylan. Get a draw for Dan. Gentlemen. We might have smoking. Dan Bessie. Do that. Rich has responsibility for gluing them together.
It's just a post-it note.
Miss Moulton is number one.
You want to run again?
Oh, it's fun.
Yeah.
And
And Bessie is number 3.
Yeah.
Okay.
Since I didn't see that.
Moving through the first spot, like at the top. Tricia Mouthful, number 2. Or, can't read my own writing. Yeah, Dan Bessie, number 3. Bert Blair, number 4. Cecil Heath, number 5. And Chris Hale, number 6.
Okay, very good. So, for the candidates, there will be a mixer with the board, probably early January sometime. We will get back to you when that is exactly. And then, a week after that, you'll have the candidate forum. Where you get to sit up on the stage and answer questions. Fun times. Okay. Anything else on that? Sorry. Okay. The next thing, Sean, is not bylaw committee.
Okay, this is a follow-up from what we introduced at last month's meeting, the 2 bylaw proposals. Since our last month's meeting, the bylaw committee met, tweaked the language a little bit, so I just want to go through these one item at a time to get board input. Recall that last month we discussed just the concept. I think everyone was at least on board with the concept, so let's take a look at particular language. First, we'll look at the project bylaw. This is in your packet. You'll see how the bylaw Q, subsection Q, how it's currently written, then proposed language that some of the changes aren't read. Essentially, the concept again is to excluding donations from the $400,000 cap. And Bill, this is kind of your pet project, so if you have anything else you'd like to say.
Yeah, we just changed the wording a little bit to make it easier to understand that we're adding whatever donations we get, whether it be in kind or in cash, to the 400,000, and that's when the community would vote. So if we got a $200,000 donation from XYZ, then it would be 600,000 before the committee would have to vote. So at the end of the day, it doesn't change the committee's, the community's standing at all. It's still 400,000. So
$400,000 of appealing funds.
right.
Okay, so Bill, do you want to vote on these one at a time?
Yes.
Okay.
All right.
Are there any, okay, I don't want to take away from your procedure, but I just wanted to see if there are any concerns with the current or the proposed current. Tom doesn't like it, but he's not going to say.
That's the one, it needs to be simple, just like you said, it just needs to say it excludes any donations. That's simple. No, that's right, it didn't say exclude. So whatever, as long as people can remember in this room, that's the intention, then that's the intention. So,
It's got the people in this room. We have to, the membership has to vote on that.
Okay. All right. Any other comments?
I don't have anything else.
Okay. Any other comments, questions, or concerns with this? Okay, is there a motion to forward this on and put it to the February ballot? I move. Is there a second? Ronnie seconds. All in favor, please raise your hand. If it's 9-0, it moves forward to February. Next, the park is going to.
Right.
If you want.
Right. So on the second one, so the first item is just amending the current bylaw. The second one is a little bit different. It's proposal. Clark Enright is here. Answering questions the board might have. He's representing the Ways and Means Committee. Yes. So Clark's here. Does anybody have any questions? So this is pretty similar to the last month's proposal. There's a few little tweaks. But I think it's a good time if anyone has any questions for Clark.
I understand this has been talked about quite a bit, and so essentially what it is it's adding a reserve fund, taking the golf course, the 18-hole golf course out of our building its own reserve fund. It is a very valuable asset we have and value add to the community. And so a little more transparency on the golf course piece of this, setting it up its own reserve fund and all the assets that need to be replaced as they come due to be replaced. Some of the value of the assets of the golf course in relation to the value of our assets was 34%. And so we're moving 34% of the value of the replaceable assets related to the 18-hole golf course. Not part three, the 18-hole golf course. Very clear. 18-hole golf course off into their own reserve fund. And what you have here is the potential bylaw and the resolution language to get that done. There is one small tweak in the details and rationale. Right after, in the middle of that paragraph, right after the italics, that next sentence says the GCRF fund would be a separate fund. I believe you have 4. It should be from. It'd be separate from the
Sorry.
The GCRF fund would be a separate fund from ARP. Do you have from or for? For. It should be from. The Ways and Means Committee is fully supportive of this. Okay. Yeah, thank you. Are there any questions about this? Okay, I have a comment. So, I understand the point, and I like the transparency of having that, but we can do the same thing by redoing our schedule in a different manner. It would not require this to be set up this way, but my concern is that once we separate the two, we have some, we don't have the kind of ease to move funds around within ARF for bigger things. If we have a problem that we need more money over in the dam, if we need more money for golf course, something else, roads, whatever it is. The flexibility that we have with ARF today, if you do this, you will not have as much flexibility. I get the point in doing it. That's not what I'm talking about. It's the flexibility of moving money around. So if you have to move money and you run out of money in regular ARF, or you run out of money in golf course ARF, GCRF, then you will have to pull it out of O&M. You cannot move it from somewhere else. You could not move it from golf course to regular ARF or the other way, because that would take community vote to do that, or it would not make it as easy to do as what we can do today. So I'm just saying, That's an issue that you need to think about as you move, as you do this, so.
Okay, if I can make a comment too, that's what I like about it. That it can be moved around. I think most of the community feels like that we have money set aside for replacing our drains. And we don't technically. It's just money in a fund that could be spent any way that we want to spend it. And if we got to where we need to replace the drains, we didn't have that money in ours, then we'd be in trouble. I like the transparency, I guess, of the community knowing exactly what money we have for the golf course and what we can spend, and see that grow over time. And know that if something happens somewhere else, that money's not going to be drained. So I guess my side is, I like that part of it, that it can't be. I understand what you're saying. Emergency is an emergency, but the replacement of the drains is a price tag of close to $1 million. And we need to make sure we have that.
Being on the committee, I think, the idea behind this is the beginning of something else down the road, to have a whole separate fund. So that we can properly allocate income and expenses. So it will,
You're getting a separate fund.
yeah, but also potentially, so that we can fund projects properly, separate assessment, even though we don't want to say that so much, but.
No, I understand completely.
Yeah.
Like I said, transparency is good, and that's what we always are trying to achieve. Where, but people also need to know that once you create this, there's some issues about moving money around. If you have an emergency or have big money that you will not be able to do as easily as you can today. And secondly, by the creation of this, doesn't mean that we have the money to do the grants. It just means we've got a fund that you can see what we're going to have to put into the fund to cover that in 31 when it hits, if that's the correct day. So, yeah. Are there any more comments or questions about this? Yes, Dylan?
It's probably how did we get to the 34%? Is that of asset value on July 1, or where did that come from specifically?
The date at which that value asset was, well, the value assets are already in the schedule in the far left column, I believe, on R. And then they're allocated by, or they're expended in the years that work out to the right. And so it's 34% of the total asset value of R. And therefore,
Do we have the art schedule we can pull up?
Not the complete.
It's basically put it simply, it's not like the amount of money that's in ARC, it's 34% of the value of the items that are on ARC. So all the items in ARC,
Right.
golf accounts for 35% of that liability value.
Well, I agree, that's why I'm wanting to see.
yeah,
I hate that Dan's not here because he has done a lot of work, and I know Bill, I know Rich, everybody involved has tried to figure out what the best percentage would be to try to get that moved over, and I think that's finally what we had to. If you want to simplify it, we can talk about it for the next 6 months, we can kind of pick a percent and hope that we get it right and move forward.
There's some things you buy today and it's 100% asset value, where the greens, since we're using that example, are 5 years old or their depreciated life's already off. So I was just generally curious how we got to 34% over the $3 million in assets we have, or whatever it is. I don't know. It's fine. Just curious. Your starting point's going to be hard to change though.
that's
But if
been,
y'all looked at it and that's y'all's recommendation, I
that's
would.
been looked at
assume-
several times.
That's fine. Just curious if there's more.
So you got 34% of the assets, 34% of the cash, and 34% of the ARP contribution on a monthly basis.
That will move.
I believe you have all those numbers in here.
So it's broke out specifically with what
Yeah.
goes into it going forward.
Yeah.
I was just curious about the actual value.
The percentage.
It's the total value of ARP is what, 8 million?
No, over 9.
It's over $9 million. So,
Y'all broke down line by line in a sense.
oh, yeah.
This is related to golf, this is related.
We've been working with Rich and the whole crew about doing a quick look at every asset.
I asked that question because you've got a lot of people that maybe don't even play golf.
I don't think he
They're gonna
included
have
the greens in a number, did he?
I'm sorry?
Did he take the greens out of that number?
Open record.
I can't remember.
No, he left it in that number.
I couldn't remember.
Yeah.
If you took it out, it starts getting confusing.
Right.
Appreciate it live.
I know we talked about it.
Yeah. Right, and it's not the values that the reserve study came up with, because pretty much something what they did that.
The reserve study was our golf guidance higher.
$1,000, but
Was the reserve study for the golf course higher or lower than 34%? Is that right? No idea.
I doubt we looked at it because we just had so many disagreements with the numbers that we were in, and we decided it probably wasn't worth our time.
I don't think they broke it out in the reserve study. I think they looked at ARP as a whole.
No, they did break down. Yes.
They did?
Yeah, it was just crazy.
Not as much as ours is broken up.
Well, not as much as ARP is broken down.
Yes.
Well, even looking at the asset replacement, Rich has kind of more information that $1.3 million, 29, what it's gonna cost to even do that anyway. Right, I mean,
Yeah, there's a big variation. I mean, it costs 600,000 or it costs 1.3 million. I mean, what the greens are gonna cost is a big variation.
Lots of things out there. May not them all at one time. But yes, me, because I won't be there on the bud. Thank goodness.
And I will say, Rich and his team have done a good job of not replacing assets just because the reserves, just because the art schedule says it's time to replace that asset. If it's still got kind of value to it, he and Scott are very careful about that. Okay. Are there any more questions or comments about that? Is there a motion to approve that? Dean moves. Is there a second?
Do we need to approve the resolution first and then the proposal?
Resolution.
Yeah, this resolution that's attached to the proposal.
Oh, okay, we can do that. Or it is.
It's the third page.
On the next page.
All right. So, Dean, you want to move to approve the resolution? One moment to read it.
Yes. I'll make that motion.
Okay. Is there a second to the motion to approve the resolution?
Second.
Nancy seconds it. Any comments? All in favor, please raise your hand. Okay, that motion. Resolution is approved. 9-0. Okay. Is there a motion to approve the proposed reserve or move it forward to vote in February? Rhea moves. Brent, seconds. We'll put it on the ballot in February. Okay, any more comments or questions on that? Okay, all in favor, please raise your hand. It's 9-0, it will be on the ballot in February. Okay. The next thing up is the golf committee, the 2025 event calendar for games.
Okay, you have a calendar in your packet. Kind of thumb through that, see if you see any mistakes. This is a matrix. It's you have to balance around holidays and when they're turning greens and when they're doing all kinds of, anyway, you got everything kind of fits together. Change one thing, it affects another. I think we pretty much have it. We worked on this for 3 months, believe it or not. And I will, in full disclosure, there was one thing that we missed and I added without the committee voting on, that I did done it by Lauren. The volunteer fire department in June. got and went them off in 219. No, May, I'm sorry, May. May 19th, sponsor, part, that's the only thing that was added after we voted for this in our committee. But, that's what they wanted, and I've already discussed it with them, and they're fine with that day. And that would be on Monday, May 19th. Everything else is, each committee, each group, kind of looked over this, how it pertained to men's and women's golf, and Lawrence and Brian with his maintenance and all that, and I think we've done it. See something that we missed, please let us know. So let's look at it.
Okay, are there any questions for Dean, comments? It's easy to do. So, okay. Tom makes a motion to approve the golf calendar for 2025. Got it. Okay. Is there a second? Ronnie seconds. Any further comments? Okay, all those in favor, please raise your hand. It's 9-0, motion to approve. Carries. Okay, the next thing on the menu is the 52-acre land use committee presentation. Gerald. This is a continuation of our series of having
Did I borrow this?
the committees make a presentation, so it gets in the board minutes and gets on the website.
Thank you, Bill. And you should have a packet in your material, and we'll use the PowerPoint up on the screen to talk through this. Goals and objectives for the 52-acre committee are, I guess you can refer to us as the land use committee, but our role is to focus on where the 52 acres are. Next slide. We have met 4 to 5 times this year. I chair the committee. In addition, we have George John, who's here, Don Barber, Clark Enright, who's here, Jim Fox, Cheryl Mason, Dylan Ott, and Rich Augustiniak. So we have a good, active group of members. And like I said, we get together about every 4 to 6 weeks to talk about activities and where we are and kind of what's coming down the road. Next slide. A little bit of history. The property that we're talking about is located geographically along the west side of the property with immediate access to the county road on 224. It is undeveloped or has been undeveloped property that was bought by the Lake Kiowa in September of 2013, a little over 11 years ago. And at that time, real estate was going for $5,000, $5,500 an acre, which is now about, I think, $20,000 an acre. But our total cost was about $286,000 plus closing costs. The land has served as a nice buffer for the community, and it has also provided an opportunity for our community to expand it as needed. There were 2 tracts of land that were bought. The former owner zoned it for ag and farming, and Lake Kiowa leased the property until about 6 months ago. And its most common access has been off of 224. Next slide, please. It has had minimal activity for the 10 years. However, the master plan and the long range planning group has listed some possible new amenities to be added as appropriate. You might recall that the community approved to build a par 3 course, 68% in favor. The community also approved the property as association facilities. for the addition of future amenities. And we approved a relocation of the existing driving range. I happened to be up there today. We did a drone flyover, and pleased to say that the progress of that, both the driving range and the par three is coming along nicely. And you'll see a picture shortly in the next couple of days of the update of the drone flyover and some of the shots. But pleased to say that it's on schedule, it's on budget, and it's both the par three and the driving range are scheduled to open the summer of 2025. Provided Mother Nature agrees with us and we have good warm weather come next spring. Next slide, please. Many of our objectives for this year have focused on the par three project, the relocation driving range. We also have been working closely with the pro at Lake Kiowa for the future addition of some hitting bays, which would allow us to have some of the latest technology referred to as top tracer. That's one of the things that's in our future plans, as well as the West Gate access road coming in off of 224 into the west, right there where the driving range is and where the ball dispensers and the fire department are right there just to the south of the fire department. And also a walking trail. Some of the other things that have come up are things like the boat and RV storage, the RV park, the addition of amenity center, recreation facilities, and other things. And as the Long Range Planning does its next survey, it will probably reveal some other ideas as well. Next slide, please. Here is an aerial view from the west side of the property that really captures probably 6 weeks ago what the par three looked like. And you can see the beauty of the lake right there. Absolute beautiful property, beautiful view. And that happened to be one of the drone flyover shots that was taken. We'll have an update by the end of this week. Next slide, please. This shows the par three. It kind of shows the various holes of the par three, and the green is the future driving range, with the tee box being on the south end and hitting it toward that water tower if you can hit it that far. Next slide, please. You might see this better in your packet, but this is kind of a site plan overview. And it shows the par three golf course, it shows the driving range, it shows where the mats are, the hitting bays. It also points out some of the future amenities that I referenced earlier, which are the West Gate access, as well as potential areas for RV storage and trailer storage, as well as other amenities. But you can see the purpose of this slide is to show the availability of undeveloped property after the driving range and the par three for future growth. You can see the two residential zone lots there just off of Kiowa Drive West. Those are available for future development or future sale to residents that might want to build a house there. So the access to the driving range and the par three is off Kiowa Drive West on the very south end there. Scott, if you can kind of circle that right there. Yeah, that's where we will access off of Kiowa Drive West to go to the driving range and to the par three. Next slide, please. We talked about some of the future possible additions, the hitting bays, the actual structure that would need to be developed. is estimated to be around $150,000. The paving of the roads coming in off of Kiowa Drive West and some of the road that would need to be paved is in the range of $60,000. The West Gate, a projection that our committee, Jim Fox, put together, having looked at the front gate entrance cost, is in the range of $175,000. The hiking trail that would go around the perimeter of the 52 acres is in the range of $80,000. So all we need is money and we can build more things. But these are things down the road that these estimates, we did not bid them out. So if we were to go forward with any one of those, we'd want to do a formal RFP to get a bid, get bids on the various possible additions. But let me just make sure I'm clear. We're not moving forward with any of these as it now stands. Those are future possible additions down the road. Next slide. So that's kind of a snapshot, the 52 acres, the land use committee, some of the things that we've been working on. There happen to be any questions, I'd be happy to take your questions, either I or members of my committee. I hear none. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. Appreciate it. Okay, the next thing up is Rules and Procedures Committee. George Hall.
Thank you.
Can you put it in a slide presentation?
There you go. Just to preface this, we're not asking for any money. All right, Rules Committee. Lake Kiowa rules were designed to produce an enjoyable, continual atmosphere out in our community. These rules are not to preclude anything from the community manager, the chief of security, fire chief, or any Texas law enforcement officer that happens to be acting in official capacity out here. The articles of incorporation, the restrictive covenants, and the bylaws take precedence over these rules. Some of our objectives: to review existing rules for the effectiveness and equity, make recommendations to Lake Kiowa Board of Directors to eliminate or modify an existing rule, add an additional rule, modify prescribed fines and penalties. Association rules are administered by the Rules Enforcement Committee. The Rules Enforcement Committee shall consist of 5 members, which are appointed by this board. The committee has the authority to sustain or dismiss citations, request additional information, and to assess prescribed penalties. The committee meets on the second Monday of each month. 3 committee members constitute a quorum. The Rules Committee does not have the authority to issue citations. That's frequently asked by people in the community or when they appear before the Rules Committee if part of the citation writing process is permitted by the Rules Committee. We do not have that authority. We do not have the authority to reduce any prescribed monetary fines. It either is or it ain't. We do have the authority, what the board gave us this last year, to reduce or eliminate prescribed suspensions. Once the citation has been issued, Rules Enforcement Committee shall notify the offending member or VC. I do that by written letter that goes out from the POA office. There's a suspension attached to the penalty. It goes by certified mail. It will list the alleged violation, the citation number, prescribed penalties for the violation, date and time and place where we're going to meet. At the time of the hearing, they'll have an opportunity to appear in person or provide a written statement
defending their position regarding the citation. Rules Enforcement Committee schedules hearings on citations and provides alleged offenders an opportunity to defend themselves. An offender can appear in person or he can provide a written testimony. If it is appear in person, they're invited into the room. They will give testimony regarding the citation. They will be asked to leave. The committee will review the testimony and the incident report, call them back to the room and give them the results of our meeting. If it is a written statement, the committee members get that in advance of the meeting. They get a chance to review it. We'll discuss it in the meeting and vote independently on whether or not to dismiss or uphold. The offender does not have to appear before the Rules Committee. If they do not appear before the Rules Committee at a scheduled time, or have not made satisfactory arrangements for an alternate date, or do not offer a written statement that mitigate the citation, the prescribed penalties will automatically be assessed, and they will so be notified. If the offender is successful in defending their actions, either at a hearing or by written statement, and the committee voids the citation, we will notify them that it's been voided and supply the POA with that information so they're not, any fines are not imposed or suspensions. Any citation heard and upheld by the committee may be appealed to the board. They have 48 hours in which to appeal that to the POA. They are provided the document necessary to appeal to the board and given the instructions on how to complete that document and the time restrictions. These are the committee members. I operate as chair, and Lyndall Pinella, Judy Nehab, Mark Razelton, Bobby Frank, Ken Purcell, and George Chapman are members. Melanie Kay, the security officer, and Michael Fife both attend the meetings. What are our goals? Well, to adjudicate the citations in an equitable manner. There are many times extenuating circumstances for different citations, and we take them into consideration before we make any judgments. We also listen to member complaints and ideas to assess the worthiness of future action, whether or not we should bring a modification or a new rule to the board for consideration. And we work with the Lake Kiowa Board, community manager, and security to improve the policies and procedures for the betterment of our community. Any questions?
Sure. Thank you.
Okay. George, thank you. Okay, the next thing is community manager report, which.
I promise I will be asking for money.
And we.
I have a few items in your packet. The first items, the front entrance, as we talked about last time, they did charge some additional fees, $6,000 for the consultants and $1,200 for coordination with the site plan. So there's a $7,200 addendum for the front entrance consultant fees. Asking that to be approved as an addition to parking expense. Now, I'm going to go one by one.
Okay, are there any questions on that?
Did we not do it not to exceed? They don't let it, so this looked like an overrun, and they said they would do it, and now they're saying they need more.
No, it was an additional consultant contract. We made revisions. So these are the change charges for the revision after we changed scope.
Yeah, they changed the plan. Okay. Is there a motion to approve this? Rita, Liz, is there a second? Seconds. Any more comments? All in favor, please raise your hand. Okay, that's 9-0. Next.
Next one is for the lodge patio, with the enclosed roof. We've had a lot of comments about the fans. I know it's, winter right now, but when summer comes and try to get the fans, replaced, we're gonna get rid of the black fans and try to get, big ass fans similar to those of the, pavilion, much smaller, obviously. 6-foot fans. I actually, looked at the cost again. It'll be just a little over 5,000, so I'm asking $6,000 not to exceed for 3 fans for the lodge patio.
Any questions or comments about that?
The man in the brochure says indoor fan, outside,
It should be indoor, outdoor fans.
it says indoor.
All right, I'll verify that, but it should be indoor, outdoor fans.
Are you gonna pull down the fans that face this way? So,
Yeah, all the fans will be removed. Yeah.
Ourselves. Sometimes I don't like the fan blowing on.
Exactly. Well, hopefully, it'll be my recognition. Yeah.
Any other questions or comments, Rich, on this?
What are we going to do with the fans that are pulled down? I mean, is there any use there?
I don't know, to be honest with you. I mean, where do you want to put the other fans?
No.
I mean, we can pull them down and store them for possible future use, but I don't know of any use right now.
It's usually by the pro shop, blowing down the patio area, the area gets hot, there's no good shade there, so we can get good there. You got them already. If they work.
Okay.
Okay, any other questions or concerns about this? So it's not to exceed 6,000 for 3 things, correct?
That is correct.
Okay.
who's gonna wire these in? You just got a pretty gazebo type thing, and it's gonna be nice conduit coming down just so clear.
Correct. And actually, we're going to be taking out the white fans as well that are underneath the patio, and that's where we're wiring it from.
Yeah.
Okay, is there a motion for $6,000, not to exceed 6,000 for 3 fans for the patio? Freya moves. Nancy seconds. Any other comments? Okay, all in favor, please raise your hand. All those against? Eight, one. Just keep it. Okay. Next up.
All right, next one is just had a lot of comment where I was short on storage, especially for the pavilion and here even, possibly move some things around. So I propose putting another storage building. You have it in your packet, be located outside the kitchen this way. Up near the playground, there's a concrete slab there currently, just before the drainage area. So it'll be located right there in the parking lot. Want to pull up that image?
Get the in out here. Picture.
My question, Rich, would be, will that impact what we do with the playground in the future?
I don't believe so. If we do anything with the playground in the future, I was thinking of actually where those trees are and the grass going that way. Otherwise, again, you'd be crossing over to the concrete. You need too close to the parking lot. You're right there. There's that concrete slab right off the parking lot where the drainage is. So we're putting the building right there.
Is there a better spot for this or another option? We got $1 million pavilion right here, beautiful lodge.
Well, the other option would be, the other spot I thought of was south of the pavilion. I don't think it's in the image, but south of the pavilion where the washout area is in the parking lot, you can put it out there. I was trying to think, again, that's the service entry. I know the playground's there, that's the service entry in the parking lot. Either that or going south into the parking lot. close to where a washout area is.
There's no room against the building on that, whatever north side, I guess. Where famous herb garden was or something, up against the building.
Well, I don't think that would be a good area to be talking over there off to the side of the patio. You're gonna be looking at the part of your view.
Directly against the building, I can't see because the shades there.
Well, directly against the building is the septic.
What are we storing this? What do we need to store?
We could store, like I said, a lot of the pavilion is full right now. And then I was thinking of possibly the swim platforms instead of leaving them out all the time, pull those out and put them in there. We always seem to be short on storage and stuff. It's just stored outside in the parking area right out here.
I could be wrong, but it seems like there's a lot of unused space in the cart barn areas, too, at the backside of those. There's no way to access that space. If you're gonna, you were talking about a pavilion, you've already got a building.
I can see if we can use some of that space. I know the storage in one part of the car park is completely full. Just where they store the rental cars is, we've got some space in there.
The MGA uses that space a lot, there's big gaps.
Okay.
Okay, why don't we table that for next week?
Thank you for your work, Bill.
That's all right. Just throwing out options. The next one, you want to pull up the drainage. We keep going over the cold drainage, just sitting there, waiting for something to be done. We got a bid to do basically repair and aligning on the cold pipe. It's not to exceed 68,000. It's kind of where they seal off the pipe and they kind of pull like a sock through and kind of line it. And that would be no disruption to the road per se. So the road would be closed for a couple days. It costs about the same if you include what the sub is going to charge us to put the water pipe. So again, these pipes need to get repaired, replaced at some point. They're corroded. We're getting a lot of just gaps and washout, and it's not good for the road above. So these need to get replaced at some point very soon. So this is an alternative to actually cutting the pipe out. You can actually, again, put a sealant down here. I don't know if you got that one ended short, you can kind of see what the sealant looks like. So this is what it looks like. You have the corroded pipe, and it actually gets a sealant that goes through. They warranty it for 50 years, or it's supposed to be good for 50 years. So I think it's a good alternative. Cost wise, like I said, if you included the 25,000 the subsequent charges to replace the water, it comes out to about the same cost.
Go back to the pictures of the.
Sure.
One more, the actual
Pictures, the actual pipe.
So I understand the sealant, but there's like, you can't see the rock, so I was just, what will they do in this facility here?
That'll have to get cleared out first, but all the gaps, once everything's exposed, they're gonna seal it first to try to seal, basically close up all the gaps. And then that sock they pull through acts as a sealant as well, and obviously you don't want to go right over those rocks, so those rocks will have to get cleaned.
And it's got no problem hearing, or it's gonna have some, how's it work? This doesn't make sense to me.
It kind of, it's very flexible, it's like a sock and they pull it through. And then it's just, I forget what process it uses.
They superheat it with water. I've seen them do it
Yeah.
in their buildings. Basically, they drag it through, they inflate it, and it superheats it and forms basically like a concrete shell or what I've seen. And
That's
I don't know if it's
correct.
blue stuff, but that's the way I've seen it do it. We run them under our cafeteria in a quarter different locations because you don't want to dig up your floors.
Yeah, they use this in a lot of different applications.
I've never seen it. So this is actually pulling something through, and it's not just painting.
No,
It's
that's why I said
leaving
they pull like a
material.
sock through, like a, whatever you want to call it. The balloon or
What's the
whatever.
material that this is made out of?
Yeah, it's a solid,
What is it? He's asking, what is the material?
do you know what they call that?
Yes, but it's very scientific and I can't remember it.
How long has this company been around? It's nice to.
Here, you can do the commercial application.
Has this company been around more than a couple of years that we might know that they might have a chance to be around?
Yeah, they've been around for, last time I checked, over 30 years, and they're straight out of Dallas,
What is the one?
50.
50 years.
They said it's gonna last 50 years. They
Yeah.
actually have a warranty.
Yeah, well, it's 30 years, but if we take care of it, maintain it, we can stretch it to 50 years.
Well, he's saying how long it lasts, warranty after getting the warranty.
At least 30 years.
Is that proportional based on the number of years?
Yeah. So back to your question is, of course, all of the debris in that pipe would have to be cleaned out, and then they actually they fill the pipe in with on one end, and they pull the sealant through a big sock, and once they seal all the to repair it, then they basically pull this bag in that has what they do is they blow it's like a balloon that blows up inside, and they use steam to inflate it, and then once it adheres, then it's sealed.
Rich, have we already purchased those black pipes that are there? Can we get our money back on those?
Possibly.
So were the options to do this for this amount or do it like we normally would, dig it out, put a new one in? They both cost the same, so I understand this doesn't disrupt the flow of traffic.
That's correct. Although the cost includes the water department, so charges $25,000 to replace the pipe. That's including that cost.
So this is the same price as fully replaced. It's just a different option.
Correct.
The only benefit of doing this is we wouldn't have a couple of days of not being able to drive through that area.
Correct.
Any more questions?
Yes, Rick had, you could ask them if they had warranted any other work that they've done, if they've had a failure, how long.
I didn't ask that, Scott. I would have that. I could find that out for you. But
You want to table it, get those answers? Okay, we'll table this as well. We didn't approve the other one.
Which other one?
Full replacement.
Original proposal.
Well, we approved when we started, but then when the water department wanted to charge us $25,000, we did not proceed because I think that one.
Yeah, the water department is concerned that if we replace the pipe, that it would collapse their pipe. And they're going to charge us for that. And apparently they're going to replace that pipe in this big thing that they're doing anyway.
Well, when they dig it up, why don't we just put the black pipe in and they dig up their pipe?
Yeah, well, that's probably gonna be a year from now or maybe longer.
55-year-old culverts lasted this long.
okay.
I don't know. If they're gonna dig up the roadway, I wouldn't spend the money on this blue stuff.
It's on the east side. It's right.
Yeah, I'm a west side. If they're gonna have to dig the road up, I would just do it at the same time. That's that's new information, but that's what for next phase 6 or whatever we're on with the SCD, if they're gonna dig that up. I mean, I think we share the backhoe, so I don't know who gets all the cost of it. If they're gonna dig
There's a
up the
big
road,
sinkhole
like the natural.
happening right
We
now.
own the black pipe.
We need to address that. There's a big sinkhole starting right now. I don't know.
Just, I mean, we're looking at that pipe because there's sinkholes right there. Right now, we have a metal plate covering a hole. I mean, so I would like to get it repaired as soon as possible.
Yes, the road is, it's like a one-lane road there. They've got half the road taken out for pylons. And so so if you don't wait a year, it fits.
I mean, it's, like you said, it's been there for a while, but it's washed out pretty bad and it's starting to collapse already.
So Rich, I don't understand, if you did this stuff you're talking about here, we don't have to dig anything up. So why do we have to pay for their water?
We don't in this case. If we use this, we don't have to.
Oh,
That's my fault.
both cases, you said we did it.
No.
They
They were asking what the price is. Plus, if we did it where we cut out the pipe, we'd also have to pay the SUD to replace their water pipe. So including that cost, it's about the same.
Okay.
So what happens if we do this, they still wanna, that's the plan anyway?
Well, that's part of it, we're not going to, we don't disrupt it.
You have guaranteed they won't.
No, this won't touch anything else. It only touches,
Water. we won't come in and say, well, now we need to change this, and you're gonna have to bust it out to do.
Yeah, so when they do their work, they're not gonna gain an hour. It's gonna,
Yeah, they could pay.
That's
their
definitely a
situation.
guarantee. Right on the left side.
Yeah.
Not a guarantee.
Hey, I'm on east side, I don't care.
You will next year.
And so basically,
They either go under or over the pipe. The issue right now is the pipe that's on top of our pipe, their water pipe is on top of our culvert pipe.
Okay, it's not bad.
And it's a concrete kind of section pipe. As soon as it's disrupted, it's gonna collapse.
so basically, this is a wash from a cost standpoint.
This currently is.
So can you find out about
Yeah,
the
look at
warranty thing, maybe we can get it approved next month?
Well, I know it's for sure it's 30-year warranty.
But he was saying, can you ask them why haven't they been warranted? You ask them, have they come through with the warranty?
Oh,
Who
yeah.
can we talk to, who, you know, that type of thing.
Yeah, I could get those answers.
And then the next question, if you're digging around it, if the SUD is digging around it in 6 months, that's gonna void the warranty, I'm telling you right now. You can ask them, but they're not gonna let that. Cause you got a culvert that sits with a liner in it, and the SUD is gonna run a backhoe into it, there's no question. There's no question,
Trench was warranted for 25 years. And a lot of us are replacing it in 10. And trench is gone. Do we not ask the SUD maybe not reasonable thinking this would, we both got a project that needs to be done. And then not just accept that it's why don't you move this up on your scale? Your project list.
replace that piece of their pipe now. Probably not, because they're probably gonna be H&W's concrete, how you tie those two together.
I mean, that was the original proposal, and that was their feedback is they pay for the materials, we pay for the labor, 25,000 is for the labor.
Was that 25,000 included in the, if we replace this, dig it up? Even Steven cost? So basically it's still gonna be 60, is it 60,000 plus 25 on top of that?
No, that's full.
I don't see why we just don't do it. The right way, it's gonna, it's even, it's gonna disrupt traffic for a couple of days. But it's done, but it's done, and we all use the same water.
Like you said, it's like extract and back. I don't know.
I don't know. We'll look into it a little bit more, and I'll go back to this side as well.
Okay,
Right, thank you.
all right, thank you, guys. Is there anything else?
I'll just go over some updates. No more requests for funds. Just wanted to touch base and some of the more dam items. Every year we do a basic inspection, just an internal that we supply to the TCP. We'll be doing that shortly. BBA will actually be helping Scott with that. They're going to come out December 3rd, and we'll do our annual inspection. And then I got a date from Chapman, the contractor for the low flow outlet. They'll be out February 3rd, given weather conditions, but February 3rd is their date they're supposed to arrive. We're also proceeding with piezometers, doing our data collection and monitoring. Like Gerald said, part 3 is progressing nicely. They actually got a ton of sod they're putting out right now. They shaped the bunkers and put in the better Billy bunkers. Sand's ready to be placed in this whenever that's available, or the sand's available whenever the bunkers are ready. The driving range, the dirt work is probably about 90% done. The greens or the tee area is basically done, so that's progressing nicely as well. Well, let's just go over the Christmas lights have been installed here at the lodge. We've replaced the lodge door handles and touched up the stain on the front doors. We've ordered some dividers for the men's urinals. We've had some comments on that. So we've ordered those and we'll install those shortly. The walking trail from the last meeting was approved and paid, so the walking trail's done. I asked Jim Fox to investigate this dog park there as well. So we'll see what a dog park costs with a walking trail. Road striping continues. We'll be doing the 400 block, and in that area, we're going to be trying out the glass speeds to see how that works at night for reflection. Drainage pipe will proceed near the bird sanctuary. Everybody knows where that is, by the golf course bridge by number 3. So that pipe's going to get replaced. And then we're working on the east gate as well. Scott's got basically a ring camera we've developed that we're gonna be able to have communication between the east gate and the main gate. And we're just working on working on the gates there themselves with Walker and Anchor Group. And we're gonna go out to Rock Creek and investigate. They have North Star and Gatehouse over there, so we're gonna do some investigation in that regarding the front entrance project. So that's where we are right now.
Good job. Okay. Is there any additional business for tonight?
I'll throw it one. I have one.
Okay.
And so the celebration committee invites everyone at 5:30 on this Saturday to have your golf cart out here to be ready for the first annual golf cart Christmas parade. And so we certainly hope you'll be out there. And then afterward, you get to come over to the pavilion and meet Santa and do our tree lighting. So we have a lot of different things going on in the pavilion this year, so you definitely want to be there. And then December 7th is a pancake breakfast with Santa, so you don't want to forget that either at 9 o'clock. But thanks to the POA crew for all that they're doing and CERT's helping us and other organizations. Thank you very much. And also, I think in January, we're going to do a town hall meeting for the survey.
Yeah, and as part of that town hall, we'll also go over the bylaw changes. Okay. One other thing, we have moved the December board meeting from the fourth Monday to the second Monday. So it's the 9th of December. There will be no financial report because it's too quick for Crystal. She's quick, but not that quick. Anything else? Okay. This is the second opportunity for members to make a comment. If you have a comment, please stand and say your name and lot number and let us know what's on your mind. Okay, there being none. The next thing that we have on our agenda is that if there is no, or if there are no comments or concerns, we are going to adjourn the recess into executive session. And just for everyone's note, that the executive session is carried out under bylaw number 6.02G. Please refer to that bylaw to see what we can and cannot do in the executive session. So, any concerns? We're going to recess. Thank you guys for coming. Please be here. We will start up again at 7:30.